snack?
No. And these things are awful.
No. Just have your snack.
Just have my snack. I can have my everything trail mix. Coconut in here, papaya. It's fucking great.
It's a well-known thing. People don't like hearing eating on the show. I've heard it as a complaint to other shows that aren't this one.
Well,
so who knows? Maybe we got a hardcore fan of eating on the podcast fans.
Those videos are really weird to watch.
Oh, big fan.
I am not. It's creepy.
The eating ones are creepy, but ASMR as a whole, big fan.
I'm gonna finish chewing before I tell the story. So, when I was not so much introduced, but when I was just, when you follow the thread to see how far the rabbit hole can go.
Yep.
I got onto this video of this Korean girl, South Korean girl.
Mm-hmm.
They were on a highway.
Yep.
There was just a tarp on the ground, food all over the place. She comes running up, and I can't remember exactly what she was wearing because I was more or less amazed that she was just on an empty highway. There was a tarp, and there was food. It was just so surreal.
I don't know if I'd describe that as surreal.
It was, no, it wasn't surreal, but just to see a highway with no cars on it, and this woman's just got a picnic out. And then it gets real weird because she starts just slathering the food.
Okay, now Duncan, what I listen to are things scientifically designed to help you sleep. I think you might have been watching some of that creepy food porn.
I'm not going to doubt it. Food porn does follow me on Twitter.
Because
still,
that doesn't sound like anything I've seen.
Anyway, the entire time she's doing it, she's screaming at varying decibels, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know how I feel about this.
Can you find this video? Because I need to see it.
I don't know if I could replicate the chain of events that led me to it.
Because, anyone who doesn't know what ASMR is, it's way... you can break it down and just say it's relaxing. And that'll shut most people
I
up.
don't find it relaxing.
Well, no, but I do. So when people are like, oh, what's that? I'm like, it relaxes me. Because there's tons of people at work who you'll see, they're listening to rain or something.
Yeah.
Which, it's the same thing. Just calms you down. But if you see the video, and it's the only video, I will scroll down to the comment sections that I'm watching at work, because the videos are very weird.
Yeah.
You get people real up close in the camera. And, I've found the creepy ones where it's they're role-playing as an anime girl.
Oh.
Oh, those get creepy real fast.
Oh, boy. Kitty.
To any close listeners who may or may not be able to tell a sound difference, we're in my apartment this time, and that also means there's a cat running around. So if you hear a cat, it's because we're somewhere else. Duncan didn't get a cat.
No.
So, Duncan.
Whoa.
What?
Intro.
I was gonna go into that. Fucking curved me right at the beginning.
Welcome to the Power Moves podcast. I'm Duncan.
I'm Colin. How was your week, Duncan?
It varied from nightmarish to pretty decent.
Explain.
Just work. There are some days where being on fixed team is pretty great. I get through a pretty decent amount of work. And then there are just other days where I just trying to get skirt dynamics to flow properly and look good and not crash horridly between the character's legs, arms, chest, and face because they're bent over themselves. And that managed to get through. Just really makes me question my life choices up until now.
To anyone who doesn't understand, cloth dynamics on a TV's time schedule is not easy. If you've got a movie, you've got all the time in the world. TV, real limited. I think Wish and Poof is the only show we do dynamics for that reason. So nothing new and exciting?
Picked up more comics.
Yep.
As I posted on Twitter.
Yep.
And then
your first tweet?
No.
Well, not your first. Your first I'm going to use Twitter.
I'm going to try and use Twitter more, other than the time where I was posting like plays of the game, because I was like, I'm not using Twitter. What am I going to, like, I'm just, okay, let's use it for this.
Yeah.
And then my Christmas present from my brother finally arrived.
Oh.
Which is, I also posted pictures on Twitter. The Godzilla, the AVO Unit 1 Crisis Response Unit to Godzilla.
See, I didn't put two and two together. I know you told me you had that gift coming, and I saw that picture, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, cool. When did you buy that?
No, so that finally came in, and my brother's friend who delivered it was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to lie to you. I was thinking about stealing this. And I was just like, I would have killed you.
Really? I mean, I agree, kill him, but that's one of those things where you're like, stealing is still the right thing to do.
He's heavy into models, making mecha models.
Yeah.
He was going, like, as we were kind of conversing and he gave it to me, he was going on about all the kits he buys and going into detail about. I asked him some questions about, trying to get that nice, fine, like, seamless look that you can get if you know how to prepare the parts properly. I don't know where I was going with that, but that was about it.
Talking about model building.
Yeah.
Something I've never got into.
Other than that, still playing Grand Theft Auto online. Still a mind-numbing nightmare. Shit. Oh, I can't remember the name of the anime anymore. There's an anime that's been on recently that I've been watching called ACCA Territory. ACCA. Anyway, as far as I know, it's called ACCA Territories Investigations something.
I imagine the first part will. Yeah, you can find it.
It's basically bureaucracy. The anime. You follow the main character who's auditing the other countries and making sure everything's well, and then you slowly kind of figure out that there might be a coup d'etat being planned and everyone's kind of on edge. So it's like everyone's on edge, and then this auditor is just kind of going around going like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, and everyone's like giving him, he smokes a lot.
Yeah.
But it's real stylish, done by Studio Madhouse.
Okay, I like those guys.
It just oozes with style and charm, but it is very slow. Like, up until now, it's kind of been a real slow burn, and I've been just like sitting there going like, I don't know what's going. I know what's going on in the story. It's really slow.
Yep.
And then episode 8 comes along, and it's just like, bam! Oh shit! This explains everything. This is why everything, like, everyone's on edge. So,
I might check it out. It sounds different.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. Other than that, yeah, it's a good show. That's all I got. What about you? What about your weekend? Or week? Yeah, I always go weekend, but
well, this time especially, has been no weekend because we're not recording at our normal time.
I suppose.
I did quite a bit this week. This is more inside baseball for Halifax, but went to some new restaurants. Good, some shocking, big city, good places to eat. Who would have thought?
Did you go to the restaurant where the waitresses look like ye old-timey waitresses?
The Ale House?
The Ale House?
No.
Where I want to go and just have a D&D adventure right there?
There's a place that I've had no interest in. Mm-hmm. It's the Middle Spoon.
Yeah.
Because I've always been convinced that it's only a dessert bar, despite people who have been there telling me that's not true.
Beside our one friend being like, no, they sell food there.
So I finally went.
Okay.
They do indeed sell food.
Did you go with our mutual friend?
I did.
Okay.
Good drinks, and then several days later, I fell in love with the place.
Okay.
Because I found out it has tech.
Oh?
There's a password-protected nightclub in the basement.
What?
That I didn't even see the door to when I was there.
What?
That's fucking awesome. And now I need to go.
Now, is it just like a door that you walk up to, or is it like a false panel?
I doubt it's that elaborate. I imagine there's just a guy in front of a door.
Oh, okay. That's kind of upsetting, because I was hoping like it'd be like there's like a hidden keypad that you kind of need a key for that you...
No. And like, it's not that secret, because like, once anyone knows the password, there's nothing stopping them from telling everyone. I'm not going to say it. Not on air. Not give out their secret.
Yeah.
But
no,
I'm curious.
You keep that mum.
Maybe this week or next weekend before we record, whatever, I might try and go, because I have to see, because I've been to a few nightclubs. I want to know what a secret nightclub's like. Outside of that, still watching Riverdale. Watched an episode before you came over. There is one actress who gets a lot of screen time. She's terrible.
Oh.
She delivered the worst performance I've seen in television in a long time. But other than that, I don't know. It's a dumb soap opera that good soap opera. That I don't know. It's sunk its teeth in, so you can keep watching it. I think there's only 1 or 2 episodes left. Anyone who follows me on Twitter saw that I started playing that's the cat. Started playing the Ghost Recon Wildlands beta. I didn't really have any excitement for the game, but a big fan of the series, or was anyway, years ago in Advanced Warfare. I think that was the name of them. Future Warfare. I don't know. Whatever they were called. But I was like, whatever, it's free, so I'll give it a try. And I tweeted out some videos. And like, it's fun to play, because it's new. But like, I'm not going to buy it.
That motorcycle was painfully slow.
Yeah, but then I've flown not flown, but I've driven in other vehicles where I guess they're not all that slow, but they all do control poorly.
Okay.
I put up another video clip earlier this morning. You probably didn't see this one, of me having a grand old time just invading a base, riding a tractor.
Like one of those...
Like a farming tractor. Oh, yeah.
John Deere.
That was fun.
Oh.
It was actually a lot of fun to just donut around killing Mexicans. I shouldn't say that.
I'm not touching that.
Because they're not Mexican. They're from South America.
Colombian drug lords, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think... I'd have to check again, but I have a feeling they do the thing where they... Like, the surrounding countries are real countries, but the one that the game actually takes place in is one they made up to not offend anybody.
Yeah.
I think they're doing something like that. Honestly, because I don't plan on investing in it any longer than the beta. I just have been skipping the story. I'm just like, it's fun to dig around in. My movie of the week was an indie flick from last year called I Am Not a Serial Killer. It's pretty neat. I liked it. To just give you like the synopsis of what the trailer shows, it's just there's murders and there's the guy who clearly done it, and there's just like this high school kid trying to prove that like no, it was him, and quickly things are way more bizarre than they would have appeared. I was immersed in the movie for the most part, except I've never been pulled out of a movie faster than when I saw kids sitting down and enjoying The Order 1886 together. But, I don't know, I guess it's good to see that someone's playing it, seeing as it's regularly on sale for like $5 now.
Oh yeah, there's some crazy sales going on right now on the PSN. I saw like Titanfall 2 was down to like $39.
Well, I think you can buy Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 together for $50.
Jesus.
That's a solid deal. Not going to buy either of them, but that's a good deal if you like them.
I don't know what happened, but the stars and planets aligned just right that in March it's just like, bam, here's everything.
Well, I was talking about that with someone the other day as far as games go. Fall is typically here's a game every week. And obviously every week there's a game, but like here's a big game every week in September, October, November, leading into the Christmas month. But I feel like 2017, like a week or two into January, it's like, no, here's a game every week that someone, like a lot of people are going to care about.
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil 7 was pretty big.
Now, do you think 2017 is blowing its load a little early?
I don't know. That's hard to say. Without pulling up a list in front of me, I can't think of any games that are scheduled for the normal fall release window.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that means we get a lot of E3 announcements where it's out in 3 months.
Okay.
Which, if that's the case, if we get an announcement and it's out in 3 months, I'm game. I'm game for that. But if we're talking video games, something we got to talk about. The elephant in the room. The last episode before it comes out. The Switch. Comes out next week. Comes out Friday.
Oh.
Crazy. Exactly.
Oh. Okay. That's a little sooner than I...
Yeah, no, it's sneaking under everyone's radar, I think. I think if you pay attention to gaming constantly, and you had no idea it comes out in a week, or less than a week, 6 days, what are they doing? I think they've lost all abilities on how to market a console. Now, I don't have cable.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't actually, despite it being the normal thing, I don't actually use ad blocker. I don't see ads for it.
Well,
who knows this console's coming?
Other than the hardcore fans, other than hardcore fans and people who are in the media, or who are like in the media, I'd say not.
Now I know they had
many.
I know they had a Super Bowl spot.
Oh, Super Bowl spot, definitely. Tons of people would have seen that.
But still, I would hope, and I'm not going to say they don't have a TV commercial running, but they better. But then again, I don't know how many systems get commercials before launch. That's usually an after launch thing, I think. Because the people who read the news every day are going to be the guys who pick it up.
Yeah.
Day one.
Little Billy
will get his on his birthday or Christmas.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of news has been coming out for the last week because our reviewers have gotten theirs. And there's just a couple points I'm gonna shoot by you. Get your 2 cents. We'll start off the top. Are you at all interested in the Switch?
Not really.
Like, have no intention of buying one at all?
I mean, they said fairly recently that instead of having a good lineup of games starting off, they're going to try and spread them out through the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sitting there going like, okay, well, that just means I'm not going to buy one right away.
Okay, so you're not a no...
No, I'm not...
You're just not next week.
Not next week. Not, like, I'm going to wait until there's some games I actually might want to play. And let's face it, how much is it going for again? Like...
I should have known this. Of all the things I wrote down, didn't write down the price.
Yeah.
Like, what is it, like 300?
I mean, 300 isn't bad, but at the same time, that's probably 300 American, right?
It is, yeah, it's 300 American.
Yeah, so it's like fucking 400 plus taxes, ballparking.
That's we'll round up a couple bucks. It's 400 for us, plus tax.
So I don't feel like dropping that much money, especially right now, where money's pretty tight for me.
So not a Zelda guy that's not selling it for you?
We've had this conversation before. We live in a post-Witcher 3 world.
Yep.
And if a game cannot live up to the standards that Witcher 3 has delivered, I don't think it has a place.
So I'll say both sides. So I will not hide my feelings that I think that game looks bad. I'm sure it plays fine. My comments are only on what has been shown, and obviously I didn't sit down and watch the 5-hour streams they've done. But I've watched multiple trailers, and I have watched people play it for 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
That world is fucking empty. There's nothing there. Like you said, Witcher 3 or almost any open world game looks better than that.
Like, Skyrim and Witcher 3 have really set the bar, even in Skyrim, there wasn't a whole lot, but you were still tripping over quests.
Yeah.
And in Witcher 3, it just felt like every couple steps, oh shit, another quest, and your quest log fills up real quick, and it's just like, Jesus, slow down, guys.
The big one for me, because I skipped over The Witcher, and I don't care for Skyrim, but like, Dragon Age Inquisition, I think is the most recent one.
Yeah.
That game had so much shit to do that the devs had to tweet out, look, I know you haven't completed the first area. Just fucking leave. Like, go see the rest of the game, because I guess they were looking at like the trophies that have been popped and the achievements, and they're like, no one's leaving.
Yeah, because they want to get everything done in the hinterlands?
Maybe?
You played it.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I stopped at 2.
Either way. Well, see, that's why Inquisition was fine for me. I didn't play 2. I skipped it. So I played Origins, which I thought was good.
Origins, great.
And then skipped to Inquisition, so I was like,
the only complaint I ever had about the first Dragon Age Origins was everything was great. I was having a grand old time. And then I got to the Dwarven Undercities.
Yeah, that part's a bit rough.
That part practically killed the game for me because I was... And one part in particular, when you meet the dwarves down in the deep... They're the Hell Dwarves or the Hell Patrol. Basically, the dwarves they send to die.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're here to keep the demon... the dark spawn at bay, and blah blah blah. And I just come by and I'm like, hey, we got to go in deeper. Let's work together. And they're like, no, we can't. We got to hold the line. I'm like, you sons of whores. And then I walked a few steps further, and I was just like, I can't. See, I eventually came back to the game, but that kind of killed.
That game is the only game that I think I have ever, and probably will ever. I don't see another game me enjoying that much. Is I got to the final boss, and I just couldn't beat it. Just wasn't happening. Everything I tried was not working. So I started the entire fucking game over as a different character, a different class, just to beat the final boss. I have never done that. I have never I barely like games enough to replay them, let alone play a game that I can't beat.
Yeah.
But
I think the only game I've ever... usually I'll beat a game, put it down, and then never touch it again. Mass Effect 2 comes out. Or, when Mass Effect 2 came out, I played it, beat it, played it again, beat it, played it again, beat it, played it again, beat it.
Yep.
Then Batman Arkham City came out. I was like, oh, Batman. Played it, beat it, played Mass Effect 2 again, beat it, played Mass Effect 2 again, beat it, waited for Mass Effect 3.
So, if a game's good enough, you'll replay it.
Oh, yeah. So
how do you feel that the Switch not launching with a virtual console? Does that bother you at all?
Not
really. So, it doesn't bother me. I am outspoken. I do not replay games. It's a waste of my time. I don't care if I love the game, 10 out of 10, perfect game. Maybe I'll replay it on a different difficulty to get them sweet trophies, but I'm not going to replay it to enjoy it because there's another game that I haven't played that I would rather spend my time on.
Yeah.
So, for me, and I guess this should also address, I have not tomorrow or not next week, not ever. I will not buy the Switch. It's just not going to happen. So, we're probably the worst people to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it is the hot news.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people complaining that it doesn't have virtual console at launch, which, the more I think about it, I guess is a legitimate thing because it doesn't have a strong launch library.
No. What,
so,
a Mario game?
No, it's not even a launch game.
Oh.
It's just Zelda.
It's just launching with Zelda?
And some indie games, as far as I know. I might be wrong. Zelda is the big game.
Jesus. Okay.
So at first when they're like, oh, no virtual console library, I was like, yeah, so how many people actually go back and replay N64 games? Which I don't even know how up to date the... Well, I guess it would have at least that.
Kirby Crystal Chronicles 64.
No,
Fuck
don't get
yeah.
wrong. There's great games from back in the day. But just play a new one.
Well, there hasn't really been a new
Not
Kirby.
Hey, Robo...
Yeah, but that's
Boy.
for the DS. I want a Kirby game that's on the main console.
Oh, I guess
that's
it's...
not Epic Yarn Tale.
So... Okay, launching with the Switch. We got Zelda. The new Bomberman game.
Yeah.
Just Dance.
Okay.
Skylanders. And 1-2 Switch. Which, frankly, should be a bundled-in game. It is the Wii Sports of today. It's here's the gimmicks.
So the Switch still has motion control?
Yes.
Oh, why can't we get away from it?
And it uses, it has a lot of gimmicks this time. Like, we'll use lip smacking because I know there's one minigame where you pretend to eat the Joy-Cons like a sandwich.
Okay.
Now, there was one game that might have actually sold me on getting one, but it's not a launch game, so I don't care.
It's ARMS, right?
Damn right it's ARMS. Huge Punch-Out fan, and frankly, if we're getting ARMS, that means we're not getting Punch-Out.
Yeah.
You're getting one or the other. And I think that game looks real neat. The style is super cool. And, that new Mario game looks neat, I guess. But, yeah, pulling up the announced Switch games for the first while. It's really nothing to write home about. You got Zelda, ARMS, and the new Mario game. And then some ports. Honestly, if you had any interest in that game, you would have played them months ago when they came out.
Yeah. Are we getting Meme Runner again?
God, I hope so. I hope we get Meme Runner too.
Electric Boogaloo.
The other thing that came out, when playing the big games, 2.5 hours of battery life.
Oh.
Which isn't good.
Even my earbuds, my Bluetooth earbuds have a 6-hour life.
Yeah.
And those are earbuds.
Mm-hmm.
Are you telling me that these... Now, are these the Joy-Cons?
No, I mean the console itself.
The console itself?
Well, when you undock it and
Yeah.
you use it as a handheld,
Okay.
that dies in 2.5 hours.
Jesus.
No, they were clear. That's with your big games. Like Zelda, Mario when that comes out, ARMS when that comes out. Smaller indie games, you'll get 5 hours or something.
Okay.
But you want to play it for the big games.
Yeah.
Now, I'll give them this. Super neat feature is if the battery dies, I don't know what wizards figured this out, but it auto-saves your game.
Okay.
So you will never lose progress.
Cool.
And I was like, awesome. That's great.
That's going to be needed.
Because I only recently picked up, well, it wasn't even mine, it was borrowing a friend's, but was using a 3DS for the first time. And red lights starts blinking. You're going to panic mode.
Oh, yeah. No, playing Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem. Ugh. But every time that little red light would come up, I'd be like, I can't do anything right now. Yeah, basically full panic mode.
The biggest issue that I've seen being talked about, and now I'll put a little asterisk next to this one, is the console has a day one patch that might fix it.
Okay.
But Nintendo being tight-lipped. They're like, hey, this is fucking broken. Does the day one patch fix it? No comment. Which tells me, I mean, to anyone that sounds like a no. It doesn't. And that is the Joy-Cons, the new Wiimotes, don't stay synced. They turn themselves off constantly.
Are you serious?
Like, the smallest amount of interference, they just disconnect. Like, you have one in your hand or scratch your wrist, you go to scratch your back, it syncs off. Cross your legs and have it kind of sitting in your lap so your foot's blocking it a little bit, desyncs. Someone walks in front of the screen for just half a second too long, desyncs. There has been multiple complaints of people saying, like, I'm dying. They're desyncing them.
Okay. Like, I get... At what point does innovation just cease? Like, I get it. Nintendo needs to innovate to kind of stay relevant. But at what point does it stop becoming innovation and just become a gimmick? And I think Nintendo has gone well beyond the point of innovation and is now just, for lack of a better term, a clown console.
Well, I mean, the Wii... I think the problem is they want to replicate the success of the Wii, which was just a fluke. It was super cheap, and you got Wii Sports, which to, gamers, in quotes, or, kids, gamers like 13 to say, I don't know, 25 or something. You play it a few times, but that's it. Then you go do something else forever.
Yeah.
You never go back to it. But older people, which is where the market really hit off, seniors, no matter how many times they turned it on, they're like, "This is the future."
Yeah. So real talk. I really enjoyed the Wii Fitness games.
Yeah.
Because go figure, I don't get out much. So if I can do some form of exercise in front of my TV for like a couple hours, maybe some light cardio, Wii Fitness and Wii Fitness U, I love those. Those are great.
So they were trying to replicate that with the Wii U, and that's why they called it
the Switch.
The Wii U.
Okay, yes.
Was because they're like, this is the Wii again. And it basically was. It was a Wii, but you get that tablet.
Yeah.
Failed. It was a critical failure. Nintendo will admit it. It sold worse than the Vita, a discontinued console.
Oh.
It sold worse than the Vita. Maybe the sales have been up since...
What happened to the PSP?
It died long ago.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they had the Vita.
Huh.
It was the new thing.
The Vita was the successor to the PSP.
Yes.
Okay.
Also a critical failure. But when you have handhelds, or when you have consoles selling around the same amount as a failed handheld, that's bad numbers. So to try and reinvent themselves, they're going back to... I guess the few Switch ads I have seen are very reminiscent of the old "we would like to play" ads. Okay. When the Asian businessman would just knock on your door
and be like,
yeah. So I think that's what they're trying to do again. And honestly, I've said it before, they should just stop. Just give up.
I don't think they should.
But I want them to keep making games. Because I would, despite my complaints, probably buy Zelda. Probably buy that Mario game. Would definitely buy ARMS if it came to anything but the console I'm not going to buy. Because I will not disagree that Nintendo typically, there's been a few bumps in the road, makes good games.
Yeah. But, ever since the GameCube, their consoles have...
Exactly. And even the GameCube, I don't know, I don't like the GameCube.
I really enjoyed the GameCube.
I just don't like the controller.
Well, no, the controller was kind of weird, but we need to, right now, motion controls aren't that great.
They are.
Okay. It's just Nintendo can't seem to get them working right?
Well, because okay. Slight segue. For VR, they're pretty good.
Okay.
Because you're trying to actually replicate the action. The problem is with Nintendo motion controls, it just becomes the waggle.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now, I'll admit, when I first got a Wii, and I played Twilight Princess, I was super into it.
Oh, yeah.
Slashing the sword. It was an actual workout to play the game.
I think No More Heroes and No More Heroes 2 was
same thing. But, it quickly became, it's because it's not actually measuring where the Wiimote is. It's just measuring the acceleration in it. So that's when people just found out you could just wiggle your wrist, have the same effect. And that's when people really stopped using the motion control. And that's kind of where their motion control still seems to be.
Okay.
Is then this gimmick doesn't really work for immersion. And that stuff should go. Just like, barring a few things that I think were super neat, Sony should never touch the 6-axis on the controller. The motion control that the PS4 controllers have built into them.
Was that little thing with the little robots inside the...
Yes.
Because when I got my PS4, that was one of the first things I went to, other than downloading Crunchyroll and YouTube onto my, so I could have something to do, because at the time I didn't have Phantom Pain. Ow. Ow!
Yeah, the cat'll fight you.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, there's been a few gimmicks that the PS4 controller have done that I think are neat, but those are very few and very far between. As a whole, no one should touch it. It's garbage and it's stupid. And it's a dumb gimmick. But, like, now this wasn't really with the gyroscope. This was just the Sony controllers having independent vibrators on each side of the controller. Was in the Psycho Mantis fight for MGS4. If you put the controller on the floor, the controller would walk towards the screen.
Okay.
That was actually super cool.
Yeah.
That was amazing. It blew my mind when that game came out. And there's this really cool spray paint thing that I thought was... Like, it was dumb, but I was like, it's neat enough. Is if you turn the controller sideways in Infamous Second Son and shaked it, it would sound like a can of spray paint.
Okay.
And then you held it sideways still and used the trigger to actually, like... You then use the controller as a motion stick and paint graffiti. I was like, that's neat.
Okay. I'll
never use this more than a few times. Get those trophies. But, that was neat. What else we got?
Miyazaki's coming out of retirement.
Yeah, fuck that.
Again.
No. Stop. He should stop. And it's not that he doesn't make fine films. And this goes for him, this goes for bands, this goes for anyone who says, we're retiring. And everyone celebrates their last hurrah. Like, his last movie was what? The Wind Rises? Or The Wind Rises, something like that?
Yeah.
I think that was his last movie. And everyone's like, oh my god, it's a tour de force. And, like, not that it wasn't a good movie. They butter it up a little bit because it's his last one. Well, he's back again, so, like...
Apparently it's going to be full CG.
I mean, I'd like to see that. Sure, but...
You're just more or less... He said he was retiring. Fucking retire.
If you're saying you're retiring, actually retire. You can step away and say, like, I'm just going to take a break. That's fine. Do that all you want. And then if you actually are liking your time off, then come out and say, I'm actually going to retire. But... And I guess that bugs me way more with bands, is because they have entire world tours where it's the farewell tour, and then the tickets for the last stop on the last tour go for an insane amount of money, because it's their last show. Well, let's do a reunion tour. And I'm like, no, you can't do that.
You're done.
You're done. You've retired.
Okay. I thought it was neat.
No, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, I think it's dumb, but... Years from now, when a trailer comes out, I'll be like, yeah, I'll watch that. Well, okay, so I get a few things.
I was going to say, because what I've got is mostly just video game and bullshit and not really important, unless you have something that's real news.
I do, but let's stick with video games. We just left the Switch. So let's stay on that. Okay. Clear out everything we've got on that. Because we touched on it for a second, I'll bring up the only video game-related thing I have. In maybe not today, but at some point, I should probably get you to do this. I finally, after weeks of neglecting the thing I wasted all of my money on, got back into VR.
Okay.
And, it's cool.
You haven't developed eye herpes yet?
No, because it's just mine. I keep it clean.
Okay.
I think only 4 people have used it, other than myself.
That was really funny. Like, a couple months after VR got big, it's like, so ocular herpes is a thing.
It's gotten pretty dirty, but you clean it after every use. Whatever. It's fine. At some point, I'm gonna get you to use it, so I can get your take on it.
I'm gonna vomit everywhere.
No, it's fine.
It will, I will paint the walls.
I'll get you to play the Batman game. Batman game, actually really good. Doesn't make you sick.
Okay.
Doesn't make me sick. And I get motion sickness. And the reason why, despite enjoying it as much as I did, I was watching some videos on YouTube that they just made me. Like, I've been motion sick. I'll try to read a book in a car and be like, nah, I can't do this. And then 10 minutes later, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck happened in one of those YouTube videos that I watched with a headset on, I was out of commission for 90 minutes.
So, like, when I get on public transit.
Yeah, I just laid down on my couch. I couldn't even play normal games. I was like, no, I can't do this. So there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
And now I don't know if that's because the tech's not good enough or we just haven't figured out a way. I know a few games have done this thing that I really don't like.
Is it when you're turning and they kind of...
It's incremental turning.
Incremental.
It's like 15 or 30 degrees at a time. Which, like, if you're putting VR on, you want immersion.
Yeah.
And now I have experience. Now, immersion is something I don't experience. I am always aware I'm in my living room.
Yeah.
So I'm jealous of people who are like, oh man, I get super sucked into this game, played it for 8 hours. I'm like, I can't. Because I can see the clock over there.
Yeah.
But when I played, like, Job Simulator, and
that little robot one?
Yeah. I got super into that. I was gone to the world. But then, playing Resident Evil 7, or another horror game, Here They Lie, and they do little 15 degrees, fade to black, fade back in, every 15 degrees to turn, I'm like, I'm not immersed at all. And now I get if they don't do it, you'll be on your ass, puke all over the place. But, so I don't know what needs to change there. But something does. Now, what do you got, video game wise?
Sticking on RE.
Okay.
Chris Redfield's returning in free DLC this spring.
Really?
Yep.
I actually didn't know that. Now, is it story DLC or it's just, hey, here's Chris?
From the tweet that Capcom released, Chris Redfield returns in free, quote, not a hero DLC RE7 this spring. Who is he chasing? Find out in this separate story. My question: who stops who can remove a boulder faster? Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 5, was it? Mm-hmm. Or John Cena from Scooby-Doo WrestleMania Mystery? Because he stops a moving boulder and just tosses it over. It's like Chris Redfield just kind of sits there and love taps the boulder.
That's still punching one to movement. John Cena is using the momentum. I'm giving it to Chris.
I'm going to have to...
And now that excites me because I haven't beaten the game, but I'm learning more of the story. I won't actually spoil it because the game is still relatively new. But to anyone who was curious, the game actually does tie in to the rest of the series. There is a reason why it's called 7. It's not entirely standalone. Now, could they have tweaked a few things and made it a reboot? Yeah, they could have. But it does tie in, which I was afraid it wouldn't.
Okay. So I'm kind of wondering how Chris Redfield kind of...
I've got... Now, where I don't know the whole story yet, either, because I guess I haven't beat it, I have ideas where he might come in. Because there is plot... I wouldn't say plot holes, but there's room currently where he could be. He could be there.
The Doomfist is missing on the PTR.
That's old news. That's weeks ago.
Okay. So, I get that it's been weeks ago, but recently there was that other image where just the Numbani airport...
See, that's the one I got excited about.
Those drones were just smashed to bits and in the walls, and it was great.
I still don't know what that game's doing. I mean,
here's my big question, and I saw this on Reddit. Nimbody gets attacked. The Doomfist is missing. Where the hell's Overwatch? Did no one call them and be like, "Hey, Nimbody's under attack"?
Ludo narrative disco biscuits. That or the rumor again, all rumors, and
this happened before Winston kind of hit
no,
the button.
The word is Doomfist is getting his own movie. No, well, not movie, but like his own little short, however long they are.
Yeah,
and they'll explain it in that.
Okay.
Now they still haven't said if Doomfist is next or not. I mean, they basically come out and said he's not.
It's that little 11-year-old.
They basically said she's not either.
Oh.
But I think the implication is it will be her robot.
Her robot, yeah.
Because it is her, but it isn't really.
Because you can't really shoot at an 11-year-old child.
Yeah.
It's kind of not good.
But I don't know that. Like the fan rumor of pulling up old concept art of that spider girl in like the spider tank.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. I want that. Even though it looks from a completely different game.
Oh yeah.
I don't care that it doesn't fit in. She looks cool.
Well, there's that also from that old concept art, there's that big red mecha guy that's almost like Reinhardt. Just every so often I'll bring up that image and be like, man, I wonder what he'd do. I really want to see him in action.
Yeah, I mean, I spent some time yesterday looking at the old concept art. There's a lot of, like, neat characters that some of them, like, there's early concept of what looks almost like a combination of Pharah and Mercy, and I think it's what eventually became Pharah, because it looked, in the art anyway, that they were being pretty offensive. But even that person was like, that's neat. I like that. Give me that.
What's the DICE Awards? Like, is that just some sort of, like, because I saw that Overwatch won, like, Game of the Year, Outstanding Game Design, Outstanding Online Game, Action Game of the Year, and I'm just kind of sitting there and I was like, what the hell is the DICE Awards?
Now, I won't front. I don't know. Okay. It's one of those things that, because, like you read the news. I've seen it in, like, I know. They're like, oh yeah, DICE is coming. I'm like, oh right, yeah, DICE. But, like, I actually have no idea what it stands for. I don't.
Okay.
It gives the impression that it's the Oscars of video games.
Okay, so probably, like.
But then what's the Video Game Awards? Is that the Golden Globes of video games?
So it's probably more or less like, here's a bunch of video games, developers in the industry kind of... Oh, the cat's playing with the power cord.
That's fine.
Anyway, yeah, no, I'm just kind of curious. Is it like something that they get third-party people to judge it? Or
well, see, that's what I'm curious about, is because...
Like, is it an actual award?
I've been a believer in the Game Awards for a while, and now every year they let me down.
Yeah.
But every year, I still tune in and hope for the best. And now I know they have actual developers doing the voting. And if that's the same... And to me, that's how it should be. People who know what they're talking about should be the people voting. Yeah. And gamers should never vote because they're all terrible.
Okay. I'm not going to disagree with that.
So if DICE is the same thing, I don't know why we have both.
Yeah.
But DICE also gave Pokemon Go an award.
Why not? What's... I don't understand. You seem skeptical about that. Like, what's wrong with that?
I don't know. I go back and forth on this. For its, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks in the sun, no game has ever hit that. Not mobile, not phone, not handheld, not console, not PC. Nothing, period, has ever hit like that did.
Oh yeah, that hit like a truck.
But nothing's gone out that fast either. That came in like a storm and then it's gone. Now I said the other day, and was talking to more people about it at work, Gen 2 seems to be bringing people in.
Yeah. But not at the same pace.
It's definitely not. It's still not what it was.
I think it's the time of the year.
Probably.
Like, if Gen 2 hit, like, at the beginning of summer, it would have been back.
Well, maybe Gen 3.
I don't think Gen 3 is going to be out in time for summer.
Oh,
like, that's a nice thought, and it would be great.
I can't even find... I've been, like, half Googling this for a while. I can't even find out what the hell DICE stands for.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a fake award.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like something I should pay attention to. But I don't really pay attention to the Oscars or anything either. So, I don't think awards should... Nah, I can't say that. I was going to say I don't think awards should affect your decision-making on what you go see or what you go play.
Yeah. But
that's how I've run into some of my now favorite movies of all time. Is I hear they get hype, and I'm like, yeah, but I think that movie's dumb because like it's not a genre I like. It turns out, if something's just done well, it doesn't matter the genre. It's just good. And I imagine that goes for games too. I imagine no matter what you're into, if a game gets a 10, it's probably a good game.
Yeah.
Which means more people should play Overwatch now that game's having a problem. I should get back to it, I guess is the real problem.
Yeah, I kind of... Season 3, I did like half my placement matches, and then I just kind of sat there and was like, I want to do anything else right now. Because it got real bad there for a while, where like I'd won all 5 of my placement matches, and I was like, oh, I could do this. I could, like, and then I kind of sat there and was like, well, placement matches don't really mean anything. I mean, they're just going to give me my score from the previous season.
Yeah.
So why am I doing anything? And I kind of lost faith with it. So I kind of want to take a hard turn.
Go for it.
Away from video games for a second. Downhill ice cross might be my favorite sport right now.
It's got a name.
No, I think that's the competition name.
Probably.
Crushed ice.
Yes. Red Bull's crushed ice.
Red Bull's. That's the competition. But
it's the same thing. To anyone who doesn't know what you're talking about, it's crushed ice.
Yeah. Basically, you take a bunch of athletes, primarily hockey players, but there have been some speed skaters. I think I remember seeing
just any athletic person who can skate.
Yeah. And you're set on a downhill course with just drops, hairpin turns, and speeds up to 80 kilometers an hour.
Now, when you say into the sport, or you like it, I need you to explain. Because I like hockey.
Yeah.
But I don't watch it.
Yeah.
But I'll go and physically see a game. Or if a friend says, want to come over and watch a game, I'd probably still say yes. But I'm not in my own time going to sit and watch hockey. But the UFC, I will watch hours by myself. I'll look up stats. I'll listen to podcasts with interviews in the fighter. I'm deep into that.
You remember that couple weeks where I was really into the Initial D drifting meme?
I didn't think that stopped.
Well, no, it hasn't. It's still a problem in my life. But it's almost at that level where I spent the last couple weeks watching videos of these people just throwing themselves down a cliff at high speeds. And I think it kind of scratches the same itch with like luge and bobsled. Because I don't see luge or bobsledding. And those, again, are two, sports-wise, are my favorite sports. Because you're going real fast on a dangerous track, and people die, and there are blades.
Okay, you lost me on that last one because I was gonna say, why don't you just watch a normal sport like racing?
Well, yeah.
But again,
I can't watch NASCAR, but I mean, rally events. I'll watch rally events because that's usually where you see people. Like, there's just a little bump in the road, and these rally cars are coming around, and they just hit that bump and go sailing, or just the craziest stuff. I love that.
Now, it doesn't So you're watching a bunch of it, but like, is it something you feel like you're going to be, quote unquote, fan of? Like, do you know people who are participating? Do you know someone who's like, oh, I've seen that guy do it before?
I think this is might be a passing.
So it'll go away. Yeah, probably.
Like, probably once we get into the summer season and you don't really hear much about the event or any of the events coming up or that kind of stuff, then I'll probably kind of ease back on it a lot. You got anything?
I gotta,
because I've got one more thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, all right. Well,
and it's still in video game news, so.
We should have covered that when we were still on video games.
No.
I got a few. So one, I teased you with the other day.
Okay.
At work or something. I don't remember where we were. But Australia did a poll.
Okay.
Or a survey, or should have looked up how it was actually done, because I don't remember.
No, this is going to be insensitive. How many dingoes have eaten babies?
Yeah. It was basically who puts on, I think it was Spotify,
okay.
when they're boning.
Oh, yes. Oh, what is it?
And they did their top 10 boning songs.
Okay.
What is the top music?
Like, you flip that on and it's go time.
Yes. So on the list,
now
I know a few of these songs.
Okay, but there's one in particular you kept secret from me, and I was like,
the secret is number one.
Okay.
So just for everyone else, we've got Slow Motion by Trey Songz, Thinking About You, Frank Ocean, Earned It by The Weeknd, Often by The Weeknd, Sex on Fire, Kings of Leon. I actually like that song. Pony by God Knows Who. Sex With Me by Rihanna. Sex, Cheat Codes, Crisscross, Amsterdam Cheat Codes. I don't know what that means. But that's one song.
Okay.
Birthday Sex by Jeremy. I've never seen Jeremy spelled that way. But you see a theme.
Yeah.
Number one.
I'm going to stop you right there. ABCs of Kinky Sex by Laura Devassin.
You couldn't be farther.
Damn it.
Now, number one, I'll tell you the artist.
Okay.
By a little unknown artist, has done, I don't know, 1 million movies. John Williams. The Cantina theme from Star Wars.
Are you serious?
Is the number one bone song in all of Australia.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. Top of the list.
What?
I think that surprised me as much as everyone in Australia. And so, I can't decide where I want to sit on this. Do I want to sit on... Okay, they polled like 30 people, and they just happen to get some real hardcore Star Wars fans?
Yeah.
Or does everyone actually like that song down there?
Part of me just wants to say they just all got together and said, okay, there's this poll going on.
Let's fuck it up.
Let's fuck it up.
Yeah, I guess I'd be alright with that being the outcome of it as well. I got another story here that about now I think I sent you this headline, but I want to get your 2 cents on it. There was a video came out from a couple months ago, but it just kind of finally was sent to this person's boss.
Yeah.
26-year-old caregiver, like nursing home caregiver, or stay-at-home caregiver.
Yeah.
Because I think she was at his place of residence. I don't know.
Okay, I think I know where this is.
Gave him a little show.
Yep.
He's 100 years old.
Yeah. Said it was a prank.
I guess. But so she lost her job, and I don't know if she's in jail or if she was just fined. Should that... Like, I can get losing your job.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if I agree with that.
Well, I mean, she has to be reprimanded in some sort of way because she is working in a professional way. Like, you just don't give a 100-year-old man your professionally taking care of a lap dance.
Why?
Because you're a professional. You're a professional caregiver.
And she cared to give him a lap dance.
Oh, Jesus, no. No, it's just not something you do.
Now, I guess the controversy comes in where they say he had dementia.
Oh, so he wouldn't have remembered anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, they're saying, oh, so not only were you picking on an old man, you were picking on an old man who can't help himself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not to sound rude, I don't even think he knows what happens.
Well,
He's 100. And now she makes the fair claim. He could have said stop. The whole thing's on video. He just enjoys himself. It's someone a quarter his age. Give him a show.
Again, it's that professional responsibility of a healthcare provider.
Well, no, I agree. I can agree with the losing the job, but do you agree with legal action? Because I don't know if I agree with that. Because it's not. Because he's not filing it. It's just they think she should be.
If in her contract it states she has to behave in a way that is professional, that's grossly unprofessional.
Yeah, but I don't care how unprofessional you are at your job. You shouldn't be fined for it. Or arrested.
Now, our workplace is fairly laxed.
Yeah. I could give someone a lap dance and not lose my job.
I think you should.
What, lose my job or give someone a lap dance?
If you gave someone a lap dance at work, there is a code of conduct we have to adhere to.
I think that'd be fine. I feel pretty confident about that. Now, like, I would not give it to HR. That's a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
I would not do it with HR around. But would I do it to a coworker? Yeah, probably.
No.
And I think it would be fine.
No.
Give it to my boss. He'd be a good sport.
I can tell you right now, if I was ever promoted to HR, it would be the iron-fisted rule of Duncan.
I can get behind that. I'm a big fan of dictatorships.
I would let power go to my head. It would be just...
So, I don't know what made me think of this, because I finished watching this show months ago now. I think it was in the summer, or fall anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I had the thought, and I think I know your answer, but I'll ask anyway.
Okay.
Is there anything that you like a lot that you wish more people liked? And now I assume you're going to say Warhammer.
I mean, it would be nice to be able to... It would be nice if I knew more people who enjoyed Warhammer, because then I'd be like, oh man, we can model things, we can put models together, we can paint them up. I can actually, be productive, because right now, they're still all in varying stages of kind of disrepair.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like, well, I kind of want to paint them, but I'd like to get at the layer, at the chest plate under his gun, so I'm going to wait to put on his gun. And then I just sit there and I'm like, I gotta paint a vehicle and I don't know how to paint vehicles efficiently. I don't have an airbrush. This is hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if more people like Warhammer, that would be great. But I realize it's an expensive hobby.
But would that still be your go-to for that question? 'Cause now, I won't say what mine is yet, but mine is a television series.
Yeah, I'd have to say Warhammer 40k would probably be my one that I'd like more people to be into, but I understand that it is not an easy hobby to get into.
Now, for me, it's pretty cheap, pretty accessible, and I don't even know why I want more people to see it. I think it's just because I legitimately think it is one of the best shows that's ever been made, period. Horace and Pete.
Now, recently, not recently, but in the last 2 weeks, I've heard people come out and say it's a fucking terrible show because it's just so goddamn depressing.
Those people don't have taste.
But I do agree with you. I have heard you talk about Horace and Pete, and I enjoy the darker kind of humor.
Well, it's dark humor, but it's also...
It's painfully real.
Every show you watch, even if it's a sitcom of like, here's a husband and wife, and it's real life, haha, it's never real.
No.
This is real.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that it makes you a little uncomfortable. I like that you know the characters so well that when something happens, you're like, oh shit, I've known this character for an episode, and that was fucked up.
Yeah.
Now, I think the show, they're trying to get it to Netflix or something eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go on Louis C.K.'s website, you can buy the whole season. I did. I can't think of any show that I've watched one episode and was like, I will buy every episode individually because I think it's that good. So I think I want more people to see it because I think it's really because I like Louis and I want him to make his money back. And I just like to see more different things. And if people don't fund different things, we get the same thing over and over. And I'm looking at you, Marvel. Fuck you.
Tim Allen. He has a kind of that family sitcom, and I don't know what it's about, but he's a part of the National Rifle Association. Mm-hmm. He's a co-owner of an outdoors shot, kind of like Bass Pro or Cabela's. And sitting down watching it with my girlfriend, it was just... It felt like every episode, they were just ticking boxes. And
now look, I honestly haven't seen the show. I'd probably like it. I like those garbage sitcoms.
I was gonna say you like King of Queens. And
I love King of Queens,
and that just makes me vomit up bile a little.
I love Seinfeld. No, I don't like Friends, but never cared for it. Couldn't get into it. I like. I stopped watching every single episode about a year ago, or maybe it's 2 years ago. I guess it was before I moved down, so it was about 2.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. But every time I go back and stay with my parents, I'm gonna watch 800 episodes of The Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
And me and my dad can share our awful taste and sit down and watch it together. So I'd probably like that Tim Allen show. But...
well, it's on Netflix.
That is... I get it. Sitcoms are almost universally tick the box. Horace and Pete ticks none of the boxes.
No.
And still comes out better than all of them. But if you're looking for something that's actually funny, or like an actual sitcom, no. Don't watch it. If you can't deal with emotions, don't watch it. He himself, I might be paraphrasing slightly, but I think he's called it something like, it's like Cheers if everyone had cancer.
It's really, it is so down to earth that your head is buried underground.
Yeah, and it deals with, like parents fighting with their kids, like to the point where they don't talk to each other anymore. It actually deals with cancer, deals with suicide. It deals with like a lot of shit that no matter what your life is like, you've probably dealt with an issue they talk about. Yeah, and like the show's just weird too. There's literally an entire episode where Louis' character sits down, and the camera basically is on this one woman who you've never seen before this episode, and she just sits and talks to the camera for 45 minutes. And that's an entire episode. Cut around. Louis will say, a few words here and there, but it's entirely her.
Okay.
I don't know anything that has the balls to do that. And I'll take back a little from Marvel said, because I'll still go see all of them. But get your shit together.
Marvel, I've kind of,
Well, you and I saw Doctor Strange together.
Yeah.
And we both walked out and was like, it was okay, but, that was Iron Man, that was Thor, that was
every Marvel.
That was all of them, just put Doctor Strange there instead.
And Kung Fu instead of magic.
I
I was expecting Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Not
ninjutsus and flashing lights.
Not the Hokage.
Naruto gang signs.
Yeah, Naruto gang signs.
But I mean, that being said, as much as just sitting on them, Thor Ragnarok got me.
Oh, the buddy cop movie with
color me
Hulk.
interested. Yeah, Thor Hulk buddy cop movie touching on Planet Hulk. I'm still excited for Avengers 3 and 4 because that's what I thought Avengers 1 was going to be.
Yeah.
And that's way back when they announced all of this is when I read the Infinity Gauntlet comic. And I was like, oh, this is what we're going to get to. I didn't know that we're going to take, 15 years to get here. But we're close. We're getting there. Now, that being said, snuck under my radar. And I'm someone who checks movie news daily. Making a Nightwing movie.
Yep. Screen Junkies put out a video recently where they were talking about that. And apparently, I get it. Not everyone reads comics.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is privy to some character lore. When Screen Junkies did a review for kind of Warcraft, I was losing my mind a little because I am fairly invested in the lore of Warcraft.
Yep.
The games and World of Warcraft. And when they're talking about Batman and Nightwing, and they're like, well, Batman's more of a go in there, guns a-blazing kind of guy, heavy armor. And I'm sitting there, it's like, excuse me, have you ever watched... And then I kind of clued in, oh, they're talking about Ben Affleck's.
Yeah, they're talking about Batfleck.
There was still a moment where I wanted to smash my TV in because Batman's not a tank. He doesn't go in there and, he's very subtle. He's very stealthy. And then if he gets shot, it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I know I shit on Marvel for doing a lot of the same, but, in DC, I can't say is doing the same. Because the 3 movies they put out have been clearly all touched by Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
But a very different quality movies. Man of Steel isn't awful. I don't like it.
Okay.
But it's not awful. Batman vs. Superman is awful. In Suicide Squad, I kind of enjoyed, honestly. But I put that into the, Marvel category of, I wasn't blown away. I got what I got what I was looking for. Here's some comic book characters I haven't seen. So I hope Wonder Woman does well. And just fire Zack Snyder. That's the only problem with him right now. But now I guess Nightwing is being done by the guy who did Lego Batman.
What?
Which I haven't seen, but universally it's being well received. So I have hope.
But it's not really a Batman movie. I mean, do you think it'll be able to touch the subject matter that Nightwing,
I don't know.
Because from what I can tell, the Lego Batman movie was a goofy movie.
Yeah.
Not a goofy movie.
Are you sure Goofy wasn't in it?
But what I'm trying to say is it going to be able to is he going to be able to coax out the same kind of undertones that they do in the comics with that director?
I think a good director
Because
can do well with anything.
Because I get it. It takes a good director to be able to do comedy right.
Yeah. But yeah, does one good movie mean another good movie?
Yeah.
No. So, and again, it'll still be overseen to some extent by Zack Snyder because it's got to fit in with his Man of Steel movie. And that's the problem they all have.
Yeah.
But something that doesn't have that problem. I don't know if you saw it, and by I don't know, I mean I know you did because we talked about it the second it happened. We discovered some planets.
Yup. Pretty close too.
Now,
comparatively to other discoveries.
That's what I thought. Dead wrong.
Oh.
There are some way closer.
Yeah, but they're not able to sustain life in the same capacity.
Also not true.
Oh.
Now they didn't. Okay, so they found 7.
Yeah.
3 were. What's the word? Hospitable.
Hospitable. Yeah. Okay.
We're in the hospitable zone.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, important because they've never found 3, and even the other 4 that they found were still Earth-like.
Okay.
But
they were outside of that range.
But couldn't support what we know life is.
Okay.
Now, I guess there was one 10 times closer. I guess now I don't know these things. I think space is super neat, but let's be honest. I don't have time to stay and look up everything constantly. But I guess Alpha Centauri is way closer, like by a factor of 10.
Okay.
And but what do you think of the discovery? What do you make of it?
I think it's neat.
That's about it.
That's about it. I mean, without any real, like, it's gonna take a lot more time it's gonna take a lot more research to kind of figure out the significance. Like, are these planets actually have life on them? Could we get to them?
Well, currently, no.
No, not in our lifetime.
Not anyone's lifetime. Our because I looked it up, and thank you, Google, for just having this calculator on the ready. If you just put in a distance in light years, it tells you how fast our fastest spaceship could get there, or space shuttle, I guess, could get there. And we're looking at over 1 million years.
Yep.
So we're not getting there.
No, and the way the universe is expanding, we could even, like, if we developed faster than light travel, it would still take a while to get there.
Yes.
At our current capacity.
I mean, if we could still go at light speed, it still takes 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's a long time. See, the one thing that I'd like to, maybe I should just tweet Neil deGrasse Tyson this or something. Because I've always wanted to know, when we're looking at planets that could support life, we base that decision off of what supports life here.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much scientists have actually put... And look, they're smarter than me. I'm sure they've thought about this. I've just never heard anyone mention it. That, this planet's covered in methane. Nothing there. Did you look, though? Because maybe there's life that survives off methane there.
Yeah.
And that's always something that's been curious to me. Because it seems like what we declare as, a planet that doesn't support life is based off, could we live there? Which, shocking. Not that many. And I think if aliens are out there, who's to say they look like us or live off what we live off of?
Neat. That's all I got.
Well, you said you Said you got another what's the story there?
Sticking with space.
Mm-hmm.
There's a vast majority of content after you beat Mass Effect Andromeda.
Can I just say this right now? Because we both tried to do it today.
Yep.
We are both fucking awful at segues.
Yep. No, because mine still had to do with space.
Yeah, but you still did it bad, and I did it bad too. But Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Go on.
Basically, after you beat the game, content is still available.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. Something to do at post game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if it's just, hey, you can access your ship, you can access stores, you can just kind of goof around, or is there actual like missions you can do, and is there actual content, or is it just gonna be like, hey, you can run around your ship, or is that just kind of code for there's gonna be DLC?
Okay, so there's there's 3 ways that I take this. Actually, off the top, let's clarify. Are you getting this game?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm on the fence.
Okay.
If you give it good reviews, and like once it comes out and I see more of it...
Colin, I can't review it.
Not a real review.
No.
Just tell me if it's good.
But that's just it. I'm going to be biased.
That's fine.
No, it's
so
not.
am I, and you still bought She-Hulk.
Yeah, but that's because I was looking for something to read.
Well, maybe I'll be looking... Actually, I will not be looking for something to play when that game comes out. That comes out dab in the middle of Horizon Zero Dawn and Persona 5. I will not be picking up Mass Effect.
Yeah.
At least not at launch anyway. So, the way I take it, and one of the ways is DLC.
Yeah.
Totally possible. Now, I have not played any Mass Effect, but I have played, we were talking about earlier, played Dragon Age. Same company.
Yeah.
Dragon Age got DLC. I don't know if Mass Effect has a history of DLC.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so very likely that there's DLC. 2 is their post-game content is just, hey, when you beat the game, you can still go and do everything you didn't do yet. It's not an automatic start the game over, which is pretty normal.
Yeah.
But the third, and I would have never called this a thing until Final Fantasy 15 went and did it, is I would argue a good third of the game's content is locked until you beat the game, where they give you new quests. And...
See, that's what I would like. If there were like new quests and there was more story after you beat the game, that would be I'd love that.
But I think typically
it's gonna
that's DLC.
Yeah.
I don't see it not being DLC, especially where they have a history of it. But I think if I were to bet money on it, it would be beat the game. You can dick around, do whatever you want, clean up the game, do everything you didn't do, and then there's DLC.
Yeah,
that's probably the most likely of the 3. I mean, I have a nearly never-ending list of things to talk about, but sometimes it's just not the right time or the right place or the right mood. I got a lot of dick stuff.
Oh boy. Well, you can talk about it when I'm not here next week. Or if we're gonna pre-record. Let's just blow the yeah.
Behind the curtain, Duncan won't be here next week, so
you gotta figure.
One of 2 things will happen. No, I guess one of 3 things will happen. Sometime between now and him leaving, we record another episode, which probably won't happen because other than weekends, Duncan and I both have a full-time job, so We like our free time outside of that.
You can do it after work.
I mean, no, we could, but I try and record one myself, which is unlikely because most of the topics are only funny because they make him uncomfortable. Or I get a guest, which I've got a few people who are probably willing to do it, so that's more than likely going to be the situation. But I guess that's it for this week. Actually, you know what? Duncan, entertain the masses.
Oh, Jesus, what are you doing?
Just entertain them.
With what?
I don't know, go on a rant. Talk about anime. Or, I don't know. Video games. What's new in your life? What are you thinking?
Absolutely nothing. There's nothing in between my ears. You know that.
Alright, I'll shoot you this question real fast while I do something that there's a good chance I edit all this chunk out later anyway. I was thinking about this in the shower this morning. Assuming you were a good actor.
Okay.
What's your dream role? I thought that's a much harder question than I thought.
Considering I've never thought about because I'm not an actor nor proficient enough to speak some days.
Would you have any ambition of being an actor?
Not really. I mean, I can barely talk to a microphone. You think I could act my way out of a box?
See, because I always jump to Batman, but, like, he's been done so many times.
Yeah. And rarely ever decently.
Well, yeah, because, again, I guess I shouldn't say act, because acting just means you're being told how to do it. I guess direct. There's a better question. If you could direct anything, what would you direct?
Again, I don't think I could direct anything.
Assuming you could.
Assuming
you can play armchair director. A Warhammer movie?
No, because no one would go see it.
It doesn't matter.
No one would go see a Warhammer movie.
It doesn't have to be for people
and
to
Warhammer
see it.
movies have been done before. Ultramarine?
Sure.
It was a CG movie. It was... Again, when you hear Warhammer anything, it's more or less like, well, that was a Space Marine story because it hit all the marks of being a story you'd see in the Space Marine Codex, and it's like, yep, that was a Warhammer story. That was a thing.
I think when I say mine, because I've got a few. I think I'd like to make a Batman movie. Again, I have no talent.
Uh-huh.
I've never directed anything, but like,
Hush or Zaz.
Well, it'd be Hutch easy.
Okay.
I think if given the power, I think I could pick up a comic and tell people to do this, because that's how I would be a director, which is steal what's already been done. Because frankly, that's how all comic book movies should be done. It's just follow the fucking book. It's the reason why it's popular. It's good.
But I mean, comics, unless it's like a decent comic, like, or...
Well, okay, because the other answer, Saga.
Really?
I would love
I don't think so.
to make that into a TV series.
I love Saga.
Yeah.
I don't think it would make decent watching.
I think it would. If you followed the comic. Panel by panel.
Okay.
And even that's hard to do, because Sin City did that, and that movie is... I like Sin City.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was well received.
I'll go back and watch it every so often.
But that was a faithful adaptation.
Yeah.
So it can be done. But with that comes the close of another episode. My cat is making sounds somewhere in the house that are concerning me.
Not really. She's right there.
I can't see her.
She's right there. She's under the little music cabinet thing.
If you got any questions for me and secret unannounced guest next week, send us an email at paramouspodcast@gmail.com. or you can follow the show on Twitter at Power Moose Pod. I barely tweet on that. It's basically just, this is business, here is new episode, or here is, it's gonna be early or it's gonna be late. I don't say much else on there. Duncan's personal Twitter, which he's finally using.
Barely.
You're still using it?
I was gonna say my tweets have gone up 400%. I just posted twice this week.
You're Append Gray.
Yeah.
I'm at Metal Gear Well. I am actually using Twitter fairly regularly now. Got some real fire tweets. So you can check those out. I already forget if I didn't. Did I say the name of it?
Metal Gear Well?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You're in the clear.
Good. You can follow me on Twitter there, or my Tumblr's the same thing. Tumblr, Twitter, pretty much all I use for social media now. So with that, have a lovely week, everyone, and go rewatch Evangelion.